The hell are the Vikings going to do at quarterback moving forward? All right, welcome back to the Onebar and Lupagus show. Vikings get the dub from Nick Mullins against the Raiders 3-0. We're going to talk about what the quarterback situation might be moving forward. What we hope it will be, what we think it'll be.
What it could be at this point, I think there's only one real option, but we're going to talk about that. Before we do, if you have not yet done it, download Underdog Fantasy app. Why would you not do it? They'll match your first deposit up to 100 bones, and you also get a free mystery offer. Look at that thing. Boom, which is basically a gimme. So it helps you on maybe your first higher, lower bid that you do. So Underdog Fantasy app, promo code SKULL. Do it now.
Easiest and best place to play fantasy sports online. Do it. Get that app. #SKULL. Let's go. Quarterback situation moving forward. Josh Dobbs. Can we agree that the Josh Dobbs era is over?
It's over. It was fun for maybe, 2 weeks?
It's over.
It's over now.
To fall in love again.
I don't know what you're singing, but it is definitely over. And to me, the intrigue isn't at the starter position because I think that is Nick Mullins moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, let's easy, Tiger. Let's ease into this a little bit. You just blew your load.
I didn't, because I think the more the talker is what happens behind him is the real talker.
Well, I mean, Josh Dobbs, done. Nick Mullins comes in today. And he gets I guess you can say the win. He did enough to get the Vikings actual points on the board, something Josh Dobbs didn't do. Here's my only thing before you just anoint Nick Mullins the starting quarterback, which I if I were a betting man, I would say it's going to be Nick Mullins. They love Nick Mullins. He was the backup today. But like with Dobbs at the starting quarterback, like Nick Mullins makes sense to be the backup. Like if they're going to go in a whole different direction, Jared Hall, I mean, if he's a starting quarterback, that's a whole different thing. But Nick Mullins makes the most sense to back up Josh Dobbs. But is he the starting quarterback?
Nick Mullins? Yeah, I think moving forward, he's your starting quarterback 100%. You're still in the thick of a playoff race. You're actually in control of your own destiny. I think we still have the 6th seed, 7-6. You're going to go with a veteran quarterback, a quarterback who's not going to hang his receivers out to dry. Yeah, can he not make the plays with his legs? Absolutely he can't. But he's Big Dick Nick. He can run the offense efficiently, maybe not great.
Efficiency is a loose term.
Well, if you see what Josh Dobbs did the last couple of weeks, I mean, we had 0 points against the Raiders through 3.5 quarters. We had 10 points against the Bears. That is unacceptable, and that comes from your quarterback. He got Justin Jefferson hurt today. He should have got about 2 other receivers hurt today, the way he was leaving them out to dry.
Dobbs ain't going to be the quarterback. Dobbs is out.
Nick Mullins won't do that. So all of that, Nick Mullins is going to be your starter moving forward. I'm 100% confident in that.
No, I would say I'm at like 99.9%. Nick Mullins came in. He was not having great passes. There's no doubt about it. No. Nick Mullins, it's not like Mullins came in and looked good. He just did enough against a very bad Raiders team. Like Josh Dobbs was playing horrible against a horrible team. Nick Mullins came in and played okay against a horrible team, enough to get 3 points.
Let me ask you this, though.
So he did get the win, and I think Nick Mullins will be the starting quarterback, but I still think there's a little tiny bit of wiggle room as far as like, you know what, Nick Mullins did fine. He's a backup quarterback, but maybe he should still be the backup quarterback.
Let me ask you this. If Nick Mullins starts this game, how many points do the Vikings put up?
9, maybe 3 field goals.
It's better than 3.
No, I'm not ripping on Nick Mullins at all. He did enough to get the win, and that's fine, but it is still Nick Mullins. Like, the only reason I think they maybe don't go with Nick Mullins is because we know Nick Mullins' ceiling. Nick Mullins is probably a guy that gets you some safe wins, and a guy that, you know what, maybe with Brian Flores' defense, it's perfect because he's not going to screw up a ton. He's not going to make some horrible plays, but he's also not going to go put up 25 points. He's going to do enough to get the win, and maybe that's enough right now for Flores. With like a Jared Hall, maybe he's a guy that could surprise you some games and actually put up some points, make some plays with your legs, make some crazy-ass plays. He's got a lot more upside than Nick Mullins, but it depends on what kind of flavor, a scoop of ice cream you want.
Well, he does. And the fact that, I mean, again, it comes back to Vikings being in the playoff picture. If they weren't, I think this is definitely Jared Hall could potentially start next week. With them in the playoff mix, it's not going to happen. To me, the question is now, who's the backup? Is it going to be Josh Dobbs backing up Nick Mullins, or is it going to be Jared Hall, the rookie? Is KOC so, down on Josh Dobbs that he puts him down to the, third string emergency quarterback?
Kevin O'Connell isn't down on Josh Dobbs. Everybody's down on Josh Dobbs. He's horrible. There's no way that Hall can't back. Josh Dobbs needs to be inactive next week. Josh Dobbs cannot be a guy that you think can come in and do something if Nick Mullins gets hurt. He's really bad.
He's horrible. And just, seeing KOC, mouth F me during the game. Like, I mean, he just couldn't believe the shit he was seeing, the throws he was making. His ball placement was so bad today. You can't risk putting your receivers in that kind of jeopardy. So, yeah, that's the question. I mean, is he the emergency quarterback or is he even on this team? I think is actually a legitimate question to ask.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if he's not on the team, that means you got to bring Sean Mannion back. Nobody wants that. I'd take Josh Dobbs 10 times out of 10 over Sean Mannion out there. Now, it'll be interesting to see what they actually do. I know it's easy to say that he shouldn't be active, but he did start this week after a bye week, so clearly they got some sort of love for Dobbs for no apparent reason. They shouldn't. He's getting guys hurt. He's just horrible. It should be Hall. It should be Mullins and Hall. But I still say that there's a tiny chance that Hall could actually get the nod.
I don't think so. I think the fact that he was the emergency quarterback today, he could have been the backup. He wasn't even active today. So I don't think he also jumps Nick Mullins. I think it'll be Nick Mullins. And he's got to look at KLC in his history. Like, it took him, 3 games to make the move to Nick Mullins from Josh Dobbs, who's been awful for 2.5 games. He's just not someone to make knee-jerk reactions. I would be shocked if Hall usurps Nick Mullins as a starter next week.
You say usurps a lot. Nobody likes it. I would be shocked too. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying I'm not completely writing it off.
But I think it's fair to agree that we both think it'll be Nick Mullins, Jaron Hall as his backup, and then Josh Dobbs as your number 3.
Well, if I had to put money on it, I would say it's going to be Nick Mullins and Josh Dobbs and Hall. I just want it to be Hall. I think it should be Hall. Everybody thinks it should be Hall. But going back to the stubbornness of Kevin O'Connell, like, who knows? I have no idea what he would do at this point. I hope it's Hall, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's Dobbs.
Yeah, and we'll see. I mean, we'll know pretty early next week who the backup is. But I would expect his first press conference, maybe not today, but Monday, Tuesday, he's going to announce that Nick Mullins is your starter.
I expect it. Like, if he hasn't said it already, I fully expect him to announce that Dobbs is not the starter anymore. He should. Shame on him. He should go to his room if he hasn't done that yet.
Yeah, Dobbs may never play football again, at least not in the NFL. He shouldn't. It was so bad today. But let us know in the comments, what do you think the quarterback situation will be? Who will start next week? Who will be the backup? Who will be that inactive emergency quarterback? We want to hear it. And also, remember this. The insult your mother wears combat boots is derived from the World War II period when, during the preparations for D-Day, American girls would pay American GIs would pay British prostitutes with their standard issue boots.